Okay, if you have a business and you know that you're going to need more funds to grow your business and you're going to need that sometime soon or even in the future, I'm going to give you two reasons why you need to stop using your personal credit card for your business and why you need to get a business credit card before 2025. One reason is because it's going to be hard to get a business credit card as we get closer to the end of the year. The other reason is you're missing out on benefits of the business credit card versus the personal one. And I'm also going to share with you my list of the best credit cards to get for your business in 2024. Okay, let's talk about why it's going to be harder for you to get a business credit card in 2025 and why you should go ahead and apply for one today if your credit is at least in good standing. So y'all remember on August 5th, there was a sudden plunge in the stock market. We can see from this article at CNN that it says fear has set in on Wall Street as the stocks are having another miserable day. The Dow tumbled more than 1,000 points and the broader market plunged 3% on Monday. The NASDAQ, full of risky tech stocks, dropped 3.5%. All of that came amid a global market sell-off. Japan's Nikkei or Nikkei, I'm not sure how to say that, 225 index nosedived 12%, its worst rout in history. And all major Asian and European markets fell substantially on that Monday. Now, that market crash was crazy and it eventually corrected itself, but this is really just a sign of things to come. Let's take a look at some of the recession fears, because at this point, we probably all have heard that there's a coming recession and it's going to be worse than any recession we've seen before. Now, it says here that fear that the U.S. economy is in much worse shape than previously believed, evidenced by Friday's unexpected jump in the unemployment rate. It says the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the U.S. economy added just 114,000 jobs in July, far fewer than expected. And unemployment rate jumped to 4.3%. It does say it's not an unhealthy employment rate, but its sudden march higher is alarming. So, okay, we know these things are going on. We know what people are talking about will happen. But how will that affect you being able to get business credit if you wait too long to try to get it? So let's take a look at some of the things that can happen when lending during a recession. One of the things that will happen is tighter credit standards. Lenders may become more selective about the borrowers they approve. They may raise minimal credit score requirements, require larger down payments, and scrutinize applicants' financial histories more closely. So if you're a person that already has your credit not in an ideal place and it's hard for you to get funding now, as soon as this happens, it's going to be a lot harder to get that funding. And in some instances, your credit isn't even as bad as you think it is. And some of you could probably go get yourself a business credit card today, but you're waiting to get to a certain point. And if you wait too long, they might raise the requirements on you again. And then now it's definitely going to be unattainable. We also see here that they can reduce loan amounts, right? So lenders may limit the size of loans they offer to reduce their exposure to risk. And when it comes to business credit cards, what you will see is getting a lot lower limits. Some of you guys might have gotten approved for some business credit cards already and maybe got unexpectedly low limits. Well, if you wait too long, those limits will be lower than what you have already seen. Another thing that happens is increased interest rates. Lenders may charge higher interest rates to compensate for their increased risk associated with lending during a recession. So a lot of business credit cards out there have options like 0% interest on an introductory period. And that's something that you're going to see go away, because while that's an incentive to get people to sign up for a credit card, now because of the extra risk going on, they're going to need to start bringing in some extra dollars, which means they're going to have to charge interest and take away those 0% introductory periods. One thing I tell everybody is always better to have the money that you need before you need it, so you know you have it on hand, versus waiting until after you actually need it. And then at that time, it might be harder for you to get. So before we get into why you need to get a business credit card instead of using your personal credit card for business purchases and the extra benefits you get from having a business credit card, if you're getting value from this video so far, make sure you hit the thumbs up so YouTube can know to show this video to more people. It takes just 2 seconds and you're here already. Just go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you are liking the video. And also make sure you go down to the description of this video. That's where you'll find my list of my favorite business credit cards for 2024. So why not just use a personal credit card for your business purchases? I mean, you already have the credit card. Why not use it for the purchases that you need right now instead of getting some new credit? Well, one of the first reasons is going to be with your personal credit card, you have a much lower limit than what you would have with a business credit card. Credit card issuers know that businesses have a lot higher expenses and they need to have transactions a lot more frequently than the usual consumer. So they will approve you for like 3 to 5, sometimes even 10 times higher limits than you would be able to see on the personal side. So if you're just using a personal credit card for business purposes, you would be able to grow your business at a much slower rate because you wouldn't have access to higher amounts of capital at one time. Another major difference that you need to be paying attention to is the fact of how it affects your personal credit. So with personal credit cards, they definitely report to your personal credit. So if you're using it for business purchases, more than likely those purchases are pretty high. And if you're going past 50%, 80% of your credit limit on those credit cards, it is tanking your credit score. On the other hand, if you get a business credit card, while they do mostly have personal guarantees on them, they don't report to your personal credit for the most part. At least that is on most business credit cards. Now, because of that, you can use your personal credit to get access to capital for your business much faster, and you can use much more of it without having to worry about it ever weighing down your personal credit score. So then if you need to get a house, you need to get a car, you don't have to worry about what you have going on in your business messing you up on the personal side. Another benefit is you get employee credit cards. At least most business credit cards have this option, whereas you wouldn't have that if you have a personal card. So if you have employees, you don't have to add them as an authorized user on your credit card that's attached to your personal. You also don't have to get extra credit cards attached to your personal and hand that out to employees. You can have cards specifically assigned to those employees, and you can even monitor and track and limit their spending. Now, some business credit cards also come with specific perks that might align with how you spend money in your business. Let's say you travel for business, there are certain point allocations or cash back for travel specifically. If you spend money on ads or certain types of inventory or supplies, you can also get points that are specifically dedicated to those types of purchases. Whereas if you had a personal credit card, it wouldn't have an allocation for business specific purposes. So you'd be missing out on points that you could get. And if you're that person that's super concerned about having to use a personal guarantee, trust me, it's worth it to be able to skip the line versus everybody that's only working on business credit. By all means, work on that, but it can take a lot of time, and then your business usually still has to have a decent amount of revenue coming in for you to get approved for most of the business credit accounts that you really, really want to get. And again, by just having your personal credit in a good state, and at minimal, you might be at about a 670, 680 or so to have good chances at these cards. And if you're 700 plus, you're in a great position to go ahead and get access to capital quickly. Again, before the credit requirements start to tighten and those limits start to get lower. Remember, I have a list down in the description of my favorite business credit cards for 2024, so go check that out. But let's say your credit isn't in a place where you can actually get approved for something like this. Go to this next video and you'll learn everything you need to learn to help get your credit to a better place so that you can get that business credit card before 2025. And I'll see you in the next one.